Hello, everyone. Let's hope this is working. Hello, everyone. This is Omar from the podcast American Me podcast. I am your host, Omar. Today is the first day I'm using OBS, and I'm trying to go live on all platforms, such as TikTok, especially. I just discovered TikTok. I hope it's on. So I'm going to just see where I'm at, if I'm on live or not, if it's working. If not, then I'll know. You understand? So give me 1 second before we start the show. So let me just, I'm not a professional guy, so it's okay. I'm just like you and know me. We're gonna talk about the issues of the day, and I'm gonna talk about Gaza a lot, about the Palestinian issue. I know I don't want you to get restless or get tired about that. You have to talk about it every day, because we are dealing with a hopeless population that the world has forsaken for the sake of fear, of economic fear, by the billionaire class, and out of, I don't know, out of political, but like getting votes. I don't know what they're doing. They're doing whatever they're doing. Perfect. Issues of the day. Yes, yes, thank God. You could call 1-800-811-9419. You could call me here. Now let me go check out TikTok. That's why I did this whole thing, because I want to be on TikTok.
I was watching the PB.
Shut up, man. I don't hear you. And it's not on TikTok. What a shame. Wait. TikTok. So I'm not alive? Not live? What happened? Wasn't it supposed to work? Wasn't it supposed to work? What is live? You see? Am I live? No. Do you guys see me on TikTok, guys? I don't see myself. I don't know how TikTok works. I'm gonna look one more time. After that, then it's okay. Okay, 70,000. All right, so I'm gonna work on it next time. So I don't know why I'm not on TikTok, but there's a lot of things. First of all, I want to thank you all for being such loyal listeners, or viewers, and I appreciate your support from wherever it comes. And I think you are great human beings. The whole idea that we have to continue talking about what's going on in Gaza is, it is a duty for anyone who is for people who stand against the criminal behavior of a regime that has no purpose at all, that's been killing children, women, and children for no reason, under the disguise of, we're fighting Hamas, we're fighting Hamas, we're fighting. You're not fighting anybody. You're just killing innocent human beings. And I know it. You know it. Every human being know it. The only people who don't know it is our governments. Our governments have. I don't understand, for no reason at all, have decided to just side with Israel. I mean, what is history going to say about these people? History is going to say something. I mean, they're going to apologize 20, 30 years from now, I know. But after that, it's OBS. They're not going to apologize for it. You got to speak now. You saw what's going on, right? You saw Canada, Germany, all of a sudden it's talking. After 18 months, do you guys realize that there was a genocide in Gaza, where idiots like me already knew it from the first week? You know why Canada and Germany and France are calling out Israel? Because they know the final moment is coming. That idea is they're going to push the Palestinian population out of Gaza, and they don't want to be a party to it. They are trying to jump ships. You know, when a ship is about to sink in the ocean, the first to jump out of the ships are the rats. They know already what's going to happen. So what happened is, these governments are nothing but rats. They are liars, hypocrites. Canada, Trudeau refused to say the word genocide. One time he came out by accident, and he had to go like he was choking on the world. You understand? It's a shame what they're doing. Right, so how come, let me just check one more time before I go. How come what I wanted to be done is not being done? I was just showing off on Twitter that, okay, yeah, StreamYard, okay, the rail, Facebook is working. I don't know what is going on. Yeah, it's working. Everything is working. Streaming, yes, it's streaming to TikTok. Yeah, baby, I'm famous. So the whole idea was, I don't know, I don't know how you see TikTok live on TikTok. So these are the rats that jumping off the ship. Today, I'm going to show you an interview by the great reporter. I think his name is Yama something. He's a Afghanistani of Norwegian origin, and he's been circumcision the Israeli politicians through interview, and I don't know why they do it one every time after another. So before I start the show, before I start talking and show you the interview, I wrote some notes I want to go through one by one. How evil what's going on? It's pretty evil what's going on. Okay, let me just say this. Okay, all right, hold on. Let me fix this. My notes, my notes. Okay, ready? Okay. If you have noticed this week, there's a new scheme that was started by Netanyahu and his criminal and the UAE. The UAE is the Emirat, Dubai, and Abu Dhabi. What they're doing is they came with this scheme that they're going to distribute food to the people that have been starving for the last 3 to 4 months. You understand? But the whole objective of this, it is not to distribute food. What they're doing is they're going to use food as a way to lure the Palestinian population from all over Gaza to the south, then push them in to the north. I can't see the. Hold on, I can't. I'm not. My eyes are not that good. Let me just see. Hold on. Okay, the guy from Facebook, all of them, right? Facebook. All right, brothers and sisters. Thank you guys on Facebook. I'm sorry I can't answer your comments, but I appreciate you guys even watching and commenting. So the whole idea was they don't want the United Nations involved. They don't want any aid organization. They don't want the Red Cross, the Red Crescent, nothing. This is called a new organization that they founded with Israel and the Americans. We don't know who the Americans are. They're not saying the American government. When you read the newspaper, it's very tricky. What they say is, well, it involves a partnership with Israel and the Americans. They don't say the American government. The whole idea was what they want to do is these criminals, these people are Jedi level thinkers of evil. What they want to do is they want to create these distribution centers to give out food to the people they've been starving who have been desperate and decimated. So desperate people do desperate things. What they're doing is they put these distribution centers right on the border with Egypt. The whole idea is to get the population out of every corner of Gaza and put them in one area, a small area of 2-3 miles, 2 million people, by the way, and the final push will come, and they want to push them over to Sinai. What Israel has been doing under the disguise or under the goose of October 7th, why don't you people investigate October 7th? We want a third party. We want an independent country or the United Nations or even the United States to tell us what happened on October 7th. Who did the killing? If 1,200 Jewish Israelis were killed on October 7th, and then when we had the spokesperson for the Israeli government on MSNBC saying that we have lowered the death toll from 1,400 to 1,200. The reporter, Gaza Hasan, asked him why. He said because everyone was burned to a crisp. They could not tell if they're male, female, Jewish, Arab. They didn't even know what they are no more. They burned them. And he said we did DNA testing, and we found out that 200 are Hamas fighters and 1,200 were Jews. Now, the question that needs to be asked by any sane person is, how did 1,200 Jews and 200 H fighters burnt to crisp? The H guys, they don't have no weapons of that magnitude. They have guns and, I don't know what it's called, Yasmin 105, 103, the Sonica radio station. They don't have the weapons that will burn a whole area. You saw the cars at the vestibule. You saw how many cars were burned. Hundreds of cars were burned. I mean, completely burned. Bodies were burned. That means the Israeli military designated what is called the Hannibal Doctrine. The Hannibal Doctrine is the idea is we will kill our own for the sake of not being taken hostages. We'd rather kill them than having them taken hostages, and we have to negotiate with them. What kind of sick thing is that? Imagine if the United States will kill its own citizen for the idea that they don't want to negotiate with the people who are going to take them hostage. And the problem is, uh, when the H guys attacked is it northern Israel? I don't know, northern Israel, yeah, no, southern Israel. Got the Gaza outside the walls of Gaza. It was so they caught them off guard. Either they let him do it, or these people were geniuses, whatever it was. 22 villages were overtaken, and 7 military compounds and small bases surrendered. So when the Israeli military came with the helicopters and the tanks, they could not separate the age groups from their own citizens. So what they did, they just burned everybody. He said, we can't have these people just taking over a whole area. They just burned and they'll do it again and again and again. No Palestinian is safe. No Israeli Jew is safe from the Israeli military. Zionism is nothing but an evil institution that will kill its own. And historically, they have done it time after time in Egypt and Iraq when they used to bomb the Iraqi Jews so they leave, or the the Lavon affair. Look it up, the Lavon affair in Egypt, where they bombed movie theaters, country clubs, where Jewish were very affluent and were considered middle class in Egypt, and they lived a good life. They had no issue with their Arab neighbors for years, but were deliberately targeted so they go there. So that's what it is. What it is. That's what I said, right? We need an investigation because this October 7 has killed almost and injured 200,000 people. You saw how they destroyed Gaza? These fucking animals, man. These are animals, man. They're not human beings. These are Nazi level son of a bitches, man. These are the children of the Nazis. Everything they claim against Germany, against the H guy and his group, is they doing it in Gaza. The murder of children, the starvation, the purpose starvation, the ghettoization of areas, the destruction of homes, the cans that they took. They actually are them. They were ardent men. You know the word RAPE. You know, I can't say the word. They are these men purposely on camera. And when it was leaked, they got upset. The Israeli government said, who leaked it? We have to punish who leaked the video of these prisoners being violated and sexually assaulted by our soldiers. They put phones and they wrecked them, man. These people are evil. And why do we associate ourselves with? And I hate when they go on TV and say these are judo Christian values. No, there is no judo value. These Christian values, I agree with that. This judo stuff, if I was a Christian, I would rip the Bible in half, just take the New Testament, and leave the Old Testament alone, because it's nothing but gibberish, murder, mayhem, incest, everything. So we have seen for the last 18 months the targeting of civilians. We have seen them kill their own hostages who escaped, and they were yelling, we surrender in Hebrew, who had the white shirts up in the air. We have seen them sharpshooting children, according to Jewish doctors who volunteer in Gaza, who have moral standing in their life, who have a moral compass. We have seen them murder families under the AI program called Is Daddy Home? How sick can this be? Nobody reports that on our mass media. You don't see Chris Cuomo saying anything about that. When he gets all his jollies up, when something happens, he wants to please his masters. They had an AI program. It's called Where's Daddy? The whole idea of the AI is to wait for any suspected Hamas fighters, or I'm going to say it, fuck the monetization. of Hamas fighters or others. Once and when did they kill him? When they come home, then they will eavesdrop. As soon as he comes home, they will blow up the whole apartment or house they live in. Now you're gonna ask me, what's wrong with that, Omar? The problem with that is at nighttime, what happens? People are sleeping with their wives and their children home. Everybody's sleeping inside the one room or the apartment they have or house they have. And they were purposely targeted in the middle of the night. They killed thousands upon thousands. Look it up, man. Every evil thing you could think about has happened in Gaza. These people are total high level evil, man. And they are danger even. The destruction of infrastructure. I'm going over today is the 600-day anniversary since Israel invaded Gaza or continue to invade Gaza. Today is the day. See, I don't know, man. Okay, let me go see my YouTube channel. I see, the comments. I don't know how to do them. They're so far. I don't know how to do them yet, but inshallah, I'm going to do it next time. Okay, let me go to the. Oh, you could tell I'm an idiot because just what comment I wanted to mess up my whole show. You see how I am? Because I'm so happy. I hope somebody commented. If not, I'm not. Okay, nobody. Oh, hey, William Joseph, 2.74 fake subs. Thank you, William. Actually, they're not. The channel used to be a short channel. God bless you, man. Thank you for being here, you hateful son of a. Anyway, the infrastructure, the destruction of infrastructure, the purpose destruction of infrastructure. 36 hospitals were destroyed. Destroyed and bombed, sometimes with people in them. Oh, we had to do it because there's a commanding center in the bottom. Every hospital had a commanding center, as if these age group had this high edge military that is able to have these kind of centers. For what? 12 universities were TNT blowing up on purpose. They blew up courthouses, schools, mosques, churches. The synagogues they didn't touch. They raised 13 cemeteries, raised them all. They don't exist no more. They want to get rid of any memory of what was going on there. You understand? So I don't want to go on and on. Okay, I'm using OBS, so I'm gonna try. So we're gonna listen to an interview between I know his first name, a great journalist, because American journalists don't ask good questions no more. They don't ask no good questions. American journalists never ask a good question, man. So we're gonna go to a Norwegian reporter who met with an official, and I'm gonna, we're gonna. I see. Okay, we're gonna go through this together. Let's get it together. You ready? Let's go.
Gaza.
Because they use those medical facilities as military bases.
So all 36 hospitals in Gaza were used by Hamas as military facilities. All of them, because you bombed all of them. I ett år har jeg villet utfordre israelske
Don't worry about the language. He's gonna start speaking English.
myndigheter og konfrontere dem med kritikken de får for den brutale krigføringen på Gazastripen. Jeg har bedt om intervju med det israelske forsvaret,
Look at the evil, man.
og en rekke
Pure evil.
maktpersoner og politikere her i
And this guy's worried about my
Israel.
subs.
Ingen har sagt
Get
ja
the fuck
før
out of
nå.
here.
Jeg er i
Man, worried about his subs, man. I think he got a lot of subs.
Nice to see you. Hun er viseutenriksminister i Netanyahus regjering.
Oh, she's a minister. Okay.
Vi har mye å snakke om.
Okay, his name is Yama Motsomel or something like that. He's a Norwegian of Afghanistan background. Let's watch this interview together and let's learn. Ready? Go. So I messed it up. I know he's going to mess it up sooner or later. What happened? See what I did? I already messed up. Okay. Hold on. Let me refresh it. Oh, I hate when this happens. I'm using OBS. This is the first time. So please. Oh, you can't refresh this. What happened?
Why have your forces
Okay.
destroyed the healthcare in Gaza?
Because they use those medical facilities as military bases.
So all 36 hospitals in Gaza were used by Hamas as military facilities. All of them, because you bombed all of them.
I ett år har jeg villet utfordre israelske myndigheter og konfrontere dem med kritikken de får for den brutale krigføringen på Gazastripen. Jeg har bedt om intervju med det israelske forsvaret, statsministerens kontor og en rekke ledende maktpersoner og politikere her i Israel. Ingen har sagt ja før nå. Jeg er i Jerusalem for å møte Sharon Haskell.
Nice to see you.
Hun er viseutenriksminister i Netanyahus regjering. Vi har mye å snakke om.
What happened? It was working perfectly. Hold on. Wait. Hold on. Why?
Har sagt ja før nå. Jeg er i
Bases.
So all 36 hospitals in Gaza were used by Hamas as military facilities. All of them, because you bombed all of them.
I ett år har jeg villet utfordre israelske myndigheter og konfrontere dem med kritikken de får for den brutale krigføringen på Gazastripen. Jeg har bedt om intervju med det israelske forsvaret, statsministerens kontor og en rekke ledende maktpersoner og politikere her i Israel. Ingen har sagt ja før nå. Jeg er i Jerusalem for å møte Sharon Haskell. Hun er viseutenriksminister i Netanyahus regjering. Vi har mye å snakke om.
Something happened. You mean they know? They know if somebody's reviewing this shit?
The world sympathized with you after the Hamas attacks on October 6th.
Control this state. They are giving it to a terrorist organization. So when you talk to me about a Palestinian state, and I know in our reality how that actually looks like, this is not a conversation we can have right now.
Yeah.
Hamas, no doubt,
57 years of occupation, you can't have it yet.
Why your prime minister for years signed off on financial aid to the Gaza Strip coming from Qatar.
Okay, watch this slide.
Signed off on.
Okay, let me break it down for you. I hope I don't mess it up. Before October 7, Benjamin Netanyahu used to beg Qatar to give millions and millions of dollars to what do you call them? To Hamas. Why are you gonna think? Why is he doing that? Under the disguise of
billions of dollars going into the Gaza Strip. So if Hamas is your sworn enemy and they're using
any divide and conquer
funds they get, as you claim, to build tunnels, to buy weapons, to hurt your people, why are you sending money to Hamas and their government for years?
So that was part of the conception that was also mainly pushed by the international community. That
no, it's not. You're a liar.
Somewhat of a hope for prosperity, for a strong economy. That maybe if there's a strong economy there, then maybe they'll put their weapons down, and they'll invest more in their children's future than in the destruction of their children's future and our children's future. But the problem is that you're not dealing with a freedom-loving, democratic nation or even people. These are people who've been indoctrinated by radical Islam, by jihadism.
Yeah, those magic words,
And
say
with
them.
that,
Hamas,
it's part of an
Hamas,
ideology.
Hamas.
And so that economical prosperity aspect has no values to a religious, ideological death cult who value death more than it values life.
I came to Israel on the
Hold on, wait a minute. You just killed 17,000 children purposely, destroyed 80% of a city, killed more than 12 to 13,000 women, and more than 20,000 civilians, wherever you want to call them. And you're telling me that those other guys are the death cult? See, this is the problem. They are not in reality. Jews have this idea of victimhood. They have to be the victims. Even if you're getting beat up by one, he's still the victim. I beat him up because, I don't know, I just feel intimidated. And you know, my history, somebody beat me up in public school and it just came all rushing to my head. So he's still a victim even if he beats you up. So the whole idea, if you pay attention to this interview, I had to skip it a little bit because I don't know, it was freezing on me. The whole idea is that victimhood is just an important part of Jewish culture. I'm going to say it exactly. And I'm going to speak my mind now because who supports? I'm going to show you, I'm going to let you hear some of these public opinion by Jews who 82% think it's okay to destroy Gaza. So the whole idea is in Israel, it's all about victimhood. You're going to see it later on in the interview. She has to be the victim all the time.
the 9th of October, and I've been covering the war ever since. I've met with victims of
Oh, and
the
my
atrocities
nose.
committed
See?
on that day, their families.
Oh,
And I
shit.
remember very well that for the first weeks, Israel received an outpouring of support and global sympathy. It was extremely touching to see how most of the world sympathized with you after the Hamas attacks on October 7th. Fast forward nearly 600 days into this war, Israel is now facing a wave of global condemnation. How did Israel lose all that global support, and why is it being condemned now? What happened?
Strength. When
we go.
Jews,
Here we go.
only
The victim,
now,
mama.
but in the past as well, and I can tell you my family's
There
history
you go.
as well.
There you go.
When Jews are being butchered, massacred, dead Jews are loved Jews. And the world sympathized with them. I made a promise to my grandfather
Bullshit.
that we will never be victims again. We will never.
You see, the whole idea is victimhood. Then I just said that even before she said it. We are victims, and we're always a victim. So if we kill, it is out of the fear of what happened to us. So you cannot blame us if we had a PSTC from the World War II. She wasn't even born then. She promised her grandfather. Who is her grandfather that she promised that it will never happen again? You're doing it to another people. Never happen again is for everyone, not just for Jews. Never again is for everyone, not just for Jews. It's for everybody, should be. You cannot take the fear of what you faced in Western Europe and come to West Asia and deliberately colonize a country that doesn't belong to you. Not only colonize, but destroy, kill, maim, rape, the fucking shit, man, the allergies are killing me, and maim the population of that native land. And now you're trying to expel 2 million people as the world is watching. We're watching. And nobody's doing anything. It's all about, I am the victim. I'm always been a victim. I am the victim. I am the victim. I'm never the victimizer. Right now in Gaza, you are the victimizer, my friend.
Never be at the mercy of any ruler or any government. We will forever be able to stand by ourselves independently to protect our children.
Yeah.
So when we are capable of strength, of showing that we are capable of defending our children, the world doesn't like strong Jews.
No, actually,
Norway is a very
hold on, my friend. Sorry. So you just saw the reason and the sixth reason that these people have. The Israelis, those people who live in Israel, the Zionists. Let's just say the Zionists. Not all Jews are like that. They are good people who hate this genocide, who are allies against who Palestinians. She said she first pulled out the victimhood that people don't. We're not going to be a victim no more. Nobody's asking you to be a victim. People are telling you don't victimize others in the process of not being a victim. Oh shit! I'm not gonna put this shit there. Fuck, man. I hope nobody's watching this shit. Oh, fucking nose, man. Allergies are killing me.
strong supporter of Israel. Historically, they've supported Israel's cause. But even a friendly nation like Norway is critical of your actions, not because you're defending yourself, because most European Western countries say you have a definite right to defend yourself. Yeah. They're critical because they say you're using disproportionate force, that you're being very heavy-handed against the Palestinians. Look at the pictures coming from Gaza. And your critics say you're committing war crimes. So that's the reason why even your allies have become critical of you, not because you're defending yourself.
When you talk to me about proportionality,
Watch.
I have to say first one thing. A war is an ugly thing. War is death.
It's not a
is
war.
Blood. There's victims on both sides.
It's a war when you have other people with the same weapons you have.
Israel never wanted that war. Matter of fact, you go anywhere here in Israel, anyone will tell you, we wish it was the 6th of October. Right. Are there going to be casualties?
Yeah.
Of course. We know that. That's why we wanted to avoid it. Are there going to be mistakes? Of course. There's no war without mistakes. Mistakes happen. And we regret it really badly. We're sorry about it. So when you talk to me about proportionality, and there was the worst massacre in your community for years, how do you react to that?
Shame, no shame.
Do you fight the terrorist organization who perpetrated that? Do you fight that terrorist organization who declare publicly they'll commit it again whenever they'll have the chance?
Like you were drawn out of their land.
Nobody denies your right to defend yourself and fight Hamas. When I talk about the proportionality which you're being criticized for, you look at the facts on the ground. 80 to 90% of the Gaza Strip lies partially or totally in ruins. There are parts of Gaza that look like a moon landscape. Everything is gone. Power stations, roads, hospitals, schools, apartment blocks, farming land. Everything has been targeted in this war. Since October 7th, over 40 times more people have been killed by your forces than were killed on October 7th. That's what your critics point to when they say this is disproportionate use of force. And right now, you're starving the people in Gaza by blocking any aid going into Gaza.
On purpose.
You tell me,
how
do you fight a terrorist organization?
You're starving people to death. What you don't understand, you deaf-toned piece of shit? Everything is an H, guys. You're starving men, women, and children to death. You cold-blooded people. What are you? What kind of human beings are you? History is not going to forgive you for what you're doing right now, man. You think you're going to get away with it? It's going to be business as usual after 5-10 years? This is a generational debt that you're going to be owed, and it will be paid back in full by these people or by their grandchildren or by their great-grandchildren. It will be a payable debt. Trust me. These people are not going to forget what you did to them. This is not, it's not the chaos of war. This is a purposely orchestrated genocidal maniac. You are even sicker than the Nazis.
Not to give shelter for its people, but to hide behind the people.
Yeah, all right.
Is using schools and
Yep.
hospitals as military bases,
Oh,
as
shit. Here we go with the
storage
fucking
for
schools.
weapons and missiles. Do you have a clean way to do it?
Myself,
We
she's
said a
from
very
England.
simple thing.
Yeah, she's from
Hamas
England.
return
not
our
from the Middle
hostages
East.
back and disarm itself, there won't be any war. Do it
Yeah.
now. And you know what they did? They refused.
Yeah.
So do we have any other choice than to go and bring back our family members?
We have to kill those
Children,
kids.
babies, grandparents, Holocaust survivors who are being held in the dungeons of torture, who are being abused every single day, and not bring them back home?
I live in Beirut, and I saw with my own eyes how you conducted the war with a much mightier enemy, Hezbollah, in Lebanon. You bombed Beirut and southern parts of Lebanon for about 10 weeks, non-stop. And I saw how you conducted that war, and we see the pictures coming from Gaza. In Beirut, Mrs. Haskell, your forces would target a Hezbollah commander in his apartment and only bomb that apartment. I saw it with my own eyes. It would be a 10-story building and one apartment is taken out.
We'll have to,
That's the level of precision and intelligence and technology the IDF possesses in their fight against their enemies.
see it, no?
Why are you then using 2,000-pound bombs to target a Hamas commander inside the Gaza Strip when you have that level of expertise?
There's a few things here. There's
Yeah.
things that we can do and there's things that we can't do.
Okay, watch out.
There's
Why
a
can't you be more
there's-
specific in your
There's-
attacks in
there's-
the Gaza Strip?
There's,
Why not?
first of all, we have been precise with our
What did I
attacks.
do?
in Gaza
Omar?
Strip.
90% is ruins, Mrs. Haskell.
Look,
Is that precision?
we are conducting a war against a terrorist
happened to me?
organization.
What
We
did
have
I do,
recruited
Omar?
all of the resources, facilities, money into this
I hate when I
terrorist
do dumb shit.
organization's capabilities of war.
Yeah.
So when you are conducting a war in an urban area,
Beirut is pretty urban.
where-
Beirut is pretty urban. Have you seen
we-
the apartment blocks?
if
There's barely space between the apartment blocks,
So-
but you managed to bomb one block at a time, and you gave
Thank God.
warnings to people. Relatively few civilians were killed in the attacks in Beirut, highly crowded areas. But you managed to minimize civilian loss and loss to infrastructure. But in Gaza, we see the opposite. And that's why your critics say you're being
a
heavy-handed.
couple of things. I want to break it down to a few
Yeah.
things. The first one is that the urban area and the use of facilities in Gaza
Mm-hmm.
and in Lebanon are different, including the use of governmental facility or are in the hands of Hamas. They are the
always do this
leadership in
garbage
Gaza. The second thing, Hamas has specifically
Sorry, guys.
and intentionally build the military infrastructure inside civilian infrastructure. Matter of fact, when we started evacuating the north of Gaza to start our operation there to eradicate Hamas, we gave weeks of warnings for civilians to evacuate from there. You know who held them there? Hamas. He
What is-
shot, hold
what is-
on,
what
let
is
me
the proof
finish.
of this?
Let me
What is the
finish.
proof of
I'll
this
show you
claim?
videos.
What a lie.
They're all they're
Hamas
spread-
is holding
Lying.
civilians back.
Yes, and civilians in Gaza are declaring it publicly, risking their life in declaring it in videos.
What we have seen, Mrs. Haskell, is videos
A liar.
of your forces using Palestinians as human shields. Your
Thank
you.
forces sending civilians in handcuffs into booby traps buildings.
Look,
Video proof that have been verified.
Look, I
So
don't
there's
know.
proof of
I
you
don't know
using
which videos
human
you-
shields.
I don't know which videos you're talking
Plenty
about.
of videos.
from
And we'll
the-
put
from
it
that
in the
war.
interview.
I'd love you.
Israeli forces strapping a civilian Palestinian on the bonnet of an armored vehicle.
Terrorists
to get
who
out.
they actually arrested to take into custody.
So you strap him to the bonnet of your car to get out of a hostile situation? Why don't put him in the car?
Look, obviously, if you want me to watch any particular video, analyze it, I'll be more than happy to do that. Israel does not intentionally harm civilians.
Mrs. Haskell,
Gaza,
your forces have shot civilians with white flags.
They're killing me
Your
left
forces
and
have shot
right.
children. Your forces even shot your own hostages that
Thank
managed
you.
to escape, waving white flags, speaking Hebrew. They were shot.
You know what happened a couple of days just before that?
You know what's the worst thing is? Forget about what this idiot is saying. You cannot defend the murder of 17,000 children. You can't defend the murder of bombing universities and schools and hospitals and churches and mosques. Let me give you an Israeli sniper killed a Christian woman and her daughter. I think it was Easter of last year, in front of the church as they were going inside the church. So they have no qualm of killing anybody that's not Jewish in Israel. Now it's the end game. That's dangerous and very scary. What's going to happen to these people? Are they going to kill them? They are, because the world is silence. Everybody's scared. Even forget about the Western world. The Arab world is not even saying one thing. Not even one ambassador was kicked out of any Arab country, believe it or not.
There were Hamas terrorists with
Here
white
we go,
flags,
Hamas.
with arms, were waving that white flag.
And what's so pretentious about these fucking losers and fake phony colonizers, she speaks fluent English, and she's probably has a British background. Sometimes that British accent will come out. She could say the H word, Hamas, instead of she wants to be like the Ingram, Hamas. Don't you notice that? It's like, when somebody, when you watch the news or something, and when they start talking about like Puerto Rico and the Spanish person, all of a sudden get the lingo, the Spanish lingo, start talking like, put that Spanish. They do the same thing on purpose. These people are evil, man. This woman, how could this woman have children? Forget about the men. Men by nature are warmongers. I'm worried about her. She's a woman who has a uterus, who's able to have children and breastfeed them. And how could she, what kind of nation are you going to have that you built on the carnage of women and children's bodies and stolen property? Everything in Israel is either stolen, the water is stolen, the food is stolen, the farms, everything they eat, drinks, sleeping, everything is stolen. And they are the biggest liars in the world. They lie without any reservation, and their lies are so obvious is they don't care no more. They need to hire the boys in Hollywood to give them good storylines, because they're not doing it right. Anyway, good.
In front of the same brigade, going in front of them, trying to shoot on them. The fact is that Hamas knows our procedures. They're abusing the Israeli mechanism to defend civilian, to harm our troops. And do mistakes happen?
You don't fight wars. You use Air Force.
But you need to understand that this is a very difficult war in an urban area where Hamas is using a lot of the mechanism that we did to protect civilians against us. And so mistakes happen, and terrible mistakes happen.
That's not mistakes.
Including those hostages.
53,000 people, not mistakes.
Let's talk about some of these mistakes that you're talking about in the Gaza Strip. Specifically the attack on healthcare facilities, hospitals, healthcare workers. All of Gaza's hospitals have been attacked by Israeli forces. Currently, 16 out of 36 healthcare facilities are partially operating according to the UN. Why have your forces destroyed the healthcare in Gaza?
Because they use those medical facilities as military bases.
So all 36 hospitals in Gaza were used by Hamas as military facilities? All of them? Because you bombed all of them.
I can give you a list of the hospitals that we've actually targeted.
No, I'm giving you the numbers.
No, you tell me all. Telling me all does not necessarily...
36 hospitals have been bombed by your forces. Are you saying that Hamas used
Can I have the
every
list of the
single
hospital, please?
Every single hospital was used by Hamas as a military base?
Okay. Shifa Hospital, yes. We have proof for that, and we've provided it. Nasser Hospital,
what proof was that?
Yes.
Please explain. What proof? You said there was a three-story underground bunker under Shifa.
Videos.
Did you find that three-story underground bunker?
We have...
Remember that was the first hospital they lied about, where that guy said, see, this is a paper. You see, this is a name. You see, this is a signature. You see, this is an AK-47 next to an MRI machine. And they said that there were tunnels under the hospital. Then it turned out the Israelis dug those tunnels in 1983 or 1984. Everything about Israel is a lie. Wallah, I swear to God. Everything is a facade. It's a make-believe country. It's eventually going to collapse. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to do this at the end of the show, but let me do it right now. Hold on. Hold on, please. Let me see. Come on, I got to do it. I can't see that far, so I'm allowed to be blind, right? Okay, because I'm more bigger than here. Israel, as a country, is a made-up country. It's a country that was built on lies and facades and rapes and murder and mayhem and trickery. They use everything they can. Jews, in the 1930s, were the reason that they were killed by the H guy is because no country will take them. Britain will not take them. All these Western European countries that are now champion of the Jews didn't want to take them. So with the H guy, I don't know if it's real. I'm like second guessing everything. They of course the way they lie now. If they lie like this, there's a lot of fucking bullshit in history that I don't believe no more. But the whole idea is the United States will not even take Jews in the 1930s, 40s. Matter of fact, a ship called the St. Louis came full of refugees, and they returned to Germany. They like to do the romance. They were all killed by H guy. But the whole idea is the Palestinians took the Jewish refugees to the point is where they share their homes with them. If they had like a two-floor home, they gave them the one floor, and they lived on one floor. They ate with them, and they took care of them. And in 1948, they kicked the Palestinians who took them in out of their homes and took their homes. These people have no sense of loyalty. Even in America, Americans think they have an ally. You don't have an ally. You have a parasite. Israel is a parasite. It's not an ally. And they're going to use you for as long as they can. And when they find it's not useful no more, they will demonize you. And they'll probably become a danger to America's stability as a country. I believe that in my heart. The most dangerous country in the world to America will be Israel in the future. You'll see. I don't know how long I'm going to live or what. But eventually, this is a recording that will live forever. I hope that YouTube doesn't go out of business. But it will be in the ether of the internet, and I hope people will look at it. I made this prediction that Israel will be more dangerous to the United States in the future than any other nation. You'll see. Go ahead.
Images, we have videos, okay? We have intelligence, we have recordings.
Recordings,
okay?
yeah.
Matter of fact, to not many, but to few of our allies who wanted to conduct some investigations, Israel gave access to those foreign military personnel to actually look on those materials as well.
Friends.
Okay? Some of them were published as well. But I have a list of those hospitals who were used by Hamas as well. And it's mainly because
26 hospitals, you liars. And yesterday they bombed a school. You saw that little girl running around in the fire. They said it was a command, I don't know what to call command and control center for the H guys. As if the H guys have command and center, as they have satellites and they have computers they have to use. A lie is a lie, but when you lie outrageously and you don't respect me as another person who's listening to your lies, to believe it, I'm more stupid than you are. You're exactly right. When they say these words, that there's a command and control center, this is a buzzword for the United States or Western media to pick up on that talking point and just report it as it is. And they usually do. Because the Palestinians don't have no voice. They have nobody here. They had a couple of students who were protesting, real people, real human beings. And what happened was that some of them are deported. Some of the colleges are losing their funds. They were kidnapping people off the street. I couldn't believe that one day I'll see that happen in America. I live all my life here. I see myself as American as anybody. I love the United States. I love other human beings here. We live under the banner of live and live. We could disagree. We have those little strife that we have in our, inner hate. Everybody has a little bit of inner jealousy or hate of other groups or opinions that, everybody is biased, right? Everybody's a biased person. But it is what it is. Let's see what she's got to say. But how could you stand there in front of a reporter and tell these outrageous lies? That means you don't respect yourself and you don't respect me, Omar, or my viewers, or the reporter in front of you. Yeah, and I got 2.6 million subscribers. So what? I inherited the channel. Go ahead.
Because they know that Israel have rules of war.
What
And they
rules?
abide
What
by the
rules?
of war.
You abide by international law. You have strict rules for your forces.
They want
We've
it, and
seen
they want it for war
surveillance
crimes.
videos from hospitals
This is a crazy
inside the
one.
West Bank, where your special forces storm into the hospitals, dressed up as
See that?
civilian Palestinians, dressed up in medical gear, in uniforms, carrying weapons,
Yes.
storming in,
And kill the
finding
guy.
their target,
Arrest
who
them.
was a Palestinian militant being treated at the hospital, assassinating 3 people in a room, and then leaving. Is that abiding by international law? Sending special forces disguised as medical crew, medical staff, with weapons, killing the people you're after?
Our
Hold on. They have this song saying that every Israeli accusation is a confession. Every Israeli accusation is a confession. If you look at the United Nations report, they did the raping of women and men. If you look at the killing of children, the defecation heads of children, they did that. 2 babies died in October 7th. There was no fucking ovens. There was, and they have this romance with the past, and it's a lie. I'm gonna say it. I don't know what kind of punishment I'll get. I just don't believe what they used to tell us happened. I just don't believe anything in World War II. Even the Russian, they said 20 million people. Really, the only truth we say is the American. We say 400,000. I think. Because why? Because we have families and we have accountability. You understand? All that shit to me is all lies. Everything that happened before I was born is a lie. I don't care, especially with these guys. They lie like they breathe. You see how I'm breathing right now? They lie like that. Sorry
Our
about the
enemies
allergy before.
are vicious.
Vicious.
So
We
you're going
know-
to do the same as
Hold
them?
on. We know what's in front of us, and we know what will happen if we wait silently sometimes for them to attack, like what happened on the 7th of October. Because we didn't act.
It's fucking October of 7 shit, man. You killed your own people on October 7. Everybody knows it. There's people don't want to say it. Sooner or later, 5 years from now, people, they have documentary. They're going to tell you the truth. Go look at the Gray Zone. They'll tell you. Drop site is a good website, news site. They'll tell you. Green World is a good guy. They tell you. Everybody knows what happened October 7. They were all killed by Israeli Hellfire missiles from helicopters. We all know that.
Act before against Hamas. We should. So the
We
7th
should.
of October would have
We
never
should.
happened.
Shall I use a voice? We should.
When there's an archi-terrorist who would have committed crime and murdered innocent civilian,
Yeah.
if I can eliminate him
Okay.
with the least casualties, instead of going into a full confrontation and a war, I think that me and you
You just killed 53,000 people. What are you talking about? Do these people think this is the problem with the value system they have? They don't see Palestinians as human beings. Jewish life is equal to I don't know if it's a 1 to 1,000 ratio or 1 to 10,000. It has to be like that because everything she says, it's about her. She's condemning herself. Every accusation is a confession, my friends.
should prefer the one with less casualties.
You've arrested thousands of Palestinians in the West Bank. You could have arrested the man being treated there.
We've-
Why do you send special forces into a hospital which is protected by international law
And kill him.
and assassinate a patient? You could have arrested him and taken him into custody.
If you want
taken
me,
him to court.
as I
You're a
said-
democracy.
as
But
I
you're
said-
saying you're justifying the extrajudicial killing of your enemy inside a hospital.
if you
And
want
then you
me
say
to
you're a
look-
democracy.
If you want me to look into a specific case, I'll be more than happy.
You don't need it. It was on TV. We saw it. You don't need to look into a specific. Oh, Ya Rabbi.
To get the details of that specific case.
And I will provide you with the videos of your forces entering the hospital.
I believe there's videos, okay? I explained to you what's the principles that actually guides us.
Okay,
But
what's the principle?
if you are really interested in the facts, I'm more than happy to get the information about this specific case and explain to you what was behind it as well.
Good.
What was behind it?
1,400 health workers in Gaza have been killed by your forces in the past 18
Let's
months.
see. There's an
1,400.
answer for everything.
That's not single incidents, that's a lot of incidents. Last month, IDF soldiers opened fire and killed 14 health and rescue workers, spraying them with bullets. Then
Hold on, I'm going to get to that. They encountered about 5 ambulances or 4 and 14 medics with their uniform on. They actually killed them, crushed their ambulances, dug a big hole and buried them. Only 7-10 days later, everybody's looking for these people, and they found the ambulances. They said, "What happened?" They said, "We don't know what happened, you know." But the person inside who was killed, he videotaped everything on a phone. That's why the iPhone is very important, man. It's, you know, he videotaped the whole thing, the whole incident before being killed. He apologized to his mother for doing this work, but he loved his work, and it was so Nazi-like. And let's see what she's gonna say. Israel called it a professional mistake, by the way, after they investigated.
burying them with their cars in a mass grave along the road. Have any soldiers been held accountable for the mass killing of 14 health workers inside Gaza?
Our soldiers are working in a very difficult environment. It's a war. It's a very intense war.
Yeah, intense.
Where our enemy is using and abusing a lot of medical facility.
Oh, fuck, I'm gonna go with
himself,
them.
in many cases, as medical personnel.
You see this piece of shit. Now she's saying that those people were disguised as medical people. Okay, why bury them with the ambulances? Okay, why? Wallahi, one day these people are going to face a wrath of those people. They're going to have to pay that debt. Well, I know it sounds crazy what I'm saying. I know it in my heart. You cannot just kill people in the tens of thousands and just open up and say, hey, and give out apple pies to your new neighbors in the neighborhood. Even the country that Israel has made has peace treaties. It's all fake. They have peace treaties with the regimes, not with the people. The people don't like Israel. You understand? So what happened is they got direct treaties with the regimes. They're not winning the hearts and minds of the Arab masses, and and right now what they're doing, they're not winning it every night, every home and 2 billion houses of Muslims and Arabs. They see this death and destruction, deliberate. They're gonna hold back, my friend. You're gonna be hated and deservingly.
Like your forces.
Your
forces disguise themselves as doctors.
As I said, I can talk in details about a specific event.
Yeah.
Mrs. Haskell, in this specific case, and I know you know what I'm talking about, you've seen the videos, your ministry has commented on these things, there's been an investigation by the IDF where you changed your version of the story. First, your foreign minister said the ambulances were moving in a suspicious way without their signal lighting on. Then the video appeared of the ambulances in the middle of the night, driving slowly on the dirt road with their emergency lights on, and then firing starts at them.
See? These are the criminals. These are the real terrorists.
And then your forces
These are the real terrorists.
Look. Grave. I mean, you say it's not intentional. Why hide what you're doing? If it was a mistake, why not call the UN and say, listen, we made a mistake. We shot at 6 ambulances and a fire truck. 6 ambulances. Please come and look at what happened here. What your forces did, they killed these people, then they buried them in a mass grave. And it took the UN 7 days to get to the site.
Israel has a robust judicial system.
Yeah.
And in our military, we're a democratic state.
Robust.
We have many checks and balances.
Yeah.
And there's accountability as well.
So who was held accountable for this mass killing?
Were mistakes being made? Yes. But those soldiers just before that were in a full confrontation with Hamas terrorists
No, they
just
were not.
before this case. And
My
so in this
gosh.
case, after it was investigated, people were moved, people were discharged.
All those who have been
and I think
listening
the
to this,
investigation
I
is
want you
still
to make
going
your
on.
own.
So you
But
think
there's
it's sufficient?
accountability.
You think it's sufficient that 2 commanders are removed from their positions after 14 innocent health workers are gunned down?
I think that our
Because
system,
in any other democracy, that soldier would be
Our-
sent to court and he would be sentenced and he would be sent to jail.
I'll tell
What
you
you
what,
do, you
look,
suspend
That's
them.
real
in
countries.
any case, no matter what I'll provide, it won't satisfy
You see, they go
what
to
you
that.
would call the international community.
Yeah.
The one-sided people who are
The international community that gave you a fake country out of no. All of a sudden, this international community is bad. They give you all their money, their weapons. Did you know since October 7, 24 hours a day, cargo planes are going down in Israel with weapons from Germany, mostly from Germany, because Germany is being blackmailed, and the British, and of course us Americans, we give anything. We give them money, anything you need, take it. We love you. Just tell AIPAC to give us some money. 24 hours a day against the people who are defenseless. Now all of a sudden, oh, I think you're overdoing it. Even Piers Morgan, that piece of shit, come along. Okay.
abusing Israel in the international organizations who criticize Israel days and night. We have a mechanism. People are being accountable towards these things. We investigate these things in depth. We research it to make sure that those kinds of mistakes won't happen. Are there tragedies? Yes.
How many
Let's talk
tragedies?
about the way forward now. Why doesn't Israel have a clear plan on what it wants to do in the Gaza Strip? Because people here in your country are scratching their heads. People internationally are questioning what you're doing. People from your own military, your former head of the IDF, Herzi Halevi, he questioned the post-war plan of your government for the Gaza Strip. What are you up to in the Gaza Strip?
Well, the reality is that it's not just up to Israel. Okay, there's many parties who also other people
Like with
who
these
need to
hand
make those
movements.
kinds of decisions. Does Israel have any ideas? There's many ideas from the beginning of the war and many propositions.
Ideas. They got ideas, all right.
By political leadership, think tanks, and many others. Personally, I think some of them are better, some of them are less. But I think there's a consensus, not just here in Israel, but internationally as well. Hamas has to be disarmed, and it cannot continue to control and indoctrinate the Gaza Strip.
Indoctrinate. How about you stop
That
the
has to be the
occupation, maybe?
base for any kind of discussion about what's going to happen in the day
Hold
after
on,
in
I'm
Gaza.
gonna do something.
Are you excited
there's-
about Trump's
there's-
Riviera plans?
I don't want to be cute. I don't want to be a wise guy,
Cute.
but
There
the
you go.
Riviera of the Middle East, this could be something that could be so bad. This could be so magnificent.
Look, I think that what Trump's bring, and it's
Outside the
very
box. Same
important,
thing
is
Netanyahu said.
thinking outside of the box.
What happened?
Your
Einstein-
critics would say your critics would say that's ethnic cleansing.
Einstein said
Forcing
that.
Palestinians out of the Gaza Strip to build a Riviera is ethnic cleansing.
So a couple of things. This is not what he's suggesting, but I will say Einstein said that repeating the same mistake over and over again is insanity. And so we need to think about something different. And when I hear there's new propositions that are outside of the box, I welcome it because it actually exercised our thoughts into trying to find something that might bring stability and coexistence.
Your prime minister said this week that he will not allow Hamas to exist in the Gaza Strip in any shape or form, and he will not allow the Palestinian Authority to govern the Gaza Strip. That's the officially recognized government of the Palestinian people internationally.
Yeah.
So
They
you don't want
it.
Hamas, you don't want the PA.
They want the
How
land, man.
is Gaza going to get governed? 2 million people need leadership. Where is this third party that you are planning for?
So
There is no
you're
third party, my
telling
friend.
me that the PA is legitimate. But I told you in the start of our interview that they're not legitimate. When was the last time there were elections in the Palestinian Authority? 20 years ago?
There you go,
Is
democracy.
it legitimate? Or is it a dictatorship?
No.
What happens the day after Mahmoud Abbas? If he dies tomorrow, who's going to go into power? Are there going to be elections? And if there's elections, who is going to be elected? Hamas is going to be elected. So you're telling me to give today the Gaza Strip to the Palestinian Authority, and in 5 years it's going to be Hamas that's controlling it. I
So
say
who do you
no.
want to govern? I'm asking you a very open question. How does Israel want Gaza to be governed? By which
It's not
group?
about what Israel wants.
Well, you're rejecting the two options that are there. So what's the third option?
I reject one bad option, which means Hamas ruling in Gaza again. Unacceptable. Give me another solution. So you know what can be? Thinking outside of the box.
What's
What an
outside the
incredible
box?
thing it can be.
What?
Bringing other solutions.
So
Like
we're
what?
back to the Riviera plan.
No. Look, if first of all,
There is no plan. The plan is to take the land. This thinking out the box is how we could get box out the Palestinian. That's what it means. These people have no sense of dignity or sincerity. They don't have nothing. These people have forgotten who they are as human beings. Because countries that live in sin, for example, how countries destroy themselves, like the United States almost destroyed itself because of the sins of slavery, and Germany, I don't know, because the wars and the expansion, a lot of people died in World War II. 3 to 4 million Bengalis died of starvation in 1 year. I mean, there was no fucking ovens, there was nothing, there was no stove. They just died of hunger like everybody else.
if someone wants to immigrate outside of Gaza and maybe
Here we go, immigrate outside Gaza.
find a better life somewhere else, and someone wants to accept them, that's what happened in Afghanistan.
Your forces are bombing Gaza, okay? You've blocked the aid into Gaza. There's barely any electricity. Healthcare is destroyed. Schools are being bombed. And you're pushing the people of Gaza into smaller and smaller areas. Right now, you're controlling about 40% of the Gaza Strip. And then your government talks about voluntary migration. You're forcing them to leave. Gaza's becoming unlivable.
There's a very simple solution to that.
What's that?
Hamas
Leave.
to take down their weapons. That's it. Done. Finished. Behind us.
Wallah, I swear to God, and I swear on everything I love, this is all lies. They could walk around naked. They still want to take that land, and there's nothing from stopping them. I told you, Israel has a demographic problem, and they are solving it right now in front of our in real time. And the West know that, I know that, and any person who knows the region knows that. Forget about people here who are emotionally, there's a purpose to this madness. This is not just, they're not crazy. This is a deliberate plan to solve the demographic problem. The Palestinians are out babying them, and they want the land, but they want the land without the people, and the people without the land, whatever they want. They just want the land. And I don't know, man. How could your children will play in these parks where children used to play and you kill them? I don't know how, in what conscience in this day and age that you could get away with it.
But they don't want to. Okay? We have to fight a terrorist organization. And we need to eliminate this terrorist organization. If I want my children to be able to live here safely and securely, not have the fear of being raped or burned or executed.
In January, there was a ceasefire in place. War stopped for a few weeks. Aid was flowing in. Your hostages were being released. About 45 Israelis were released from Hamas captivity.
And what happened?
When you know that negotiations and ceasefires have been the only way you've gotten your hostages out, 150 of them in 2 rounds, through negotiations, why do you then start the war again?
Okay, so it's very interesting how you decided to manipulate and put the things in order. In January, we signed a ceasefire agreement that would last until the beginning of March. The problem is that by March, not the 1st of March, but even 2 weeks, 3 weeks after, Hamas didn't show any signs of real negotiation to discuss in order to go into a second stage.
Because you changed the terms of the deal.
What are we meant to do? Sit like this and hope to God
They had a deal and they just changed the terms on the second phase. They don't want, we got our hostages now. They gave them middle fingers and they went back to killing women and children. No matter if they bring peace, if the whole world send whole armies into Gaza to protect Israel, they will not accept it. They want the land and they're determined to get it. They did this before and they did it before. They did it again and do it again. Just let's hope for a good outcome there.
God that maybe one day Hamas will be kind enough to release our
It's
hostages?
Hamas, you know what it is. Stop
No.
fucking with the
So we are now putting,
shit.
setting our operations again so that we can bring our family members back home so that we can.
You saw the question, right? Every time you negotiated and you had a ceasefire, Israeli hostages were released safe and sound. Then you start the war. Then she goes back, she said, we want to bring our people back home. Alaykum na'natullah.
Can destroy Hamas. This deal is on the table. We don't want a war. Our goal is to make sure that our children can live here in a safe environment.
Well, they're not going to live this
afraid
way.
for my
It's
three
not going to
little
work
girls
this way for
every
you.
single second from what had happened on the 7th of October. If we can find a solution to live side by side peacefully with the Palestinian people, this is the first.
Living side by side. Okay, how about the West Bank? There's no Hamas. You burning village after village and taking land after land. You are after land. You love real estate.
Choice that would be for the Israelis as well.
Mrs. Sharon Haskell, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
She laughed. I bet you she would go to her office and she will beat the daylight out of her. What do you call it? Let me see, where am I? Where am I? See, this is what I hate about myself. All right, there I am. All right, guys. That was an interview between a real reporter, because we no longer have real reporters in the United States. We used to, but now we don't have them because they're afraid to say the truth on TV. You don't see all that stuff on TV. The medics, the girl burning down, everything. Anyway, in closing, I want to say this from the bottom of my heart, that Israel is a criminal entity. It is not a nation that's based on peace. It was founded through violence, and it maintains itself through violence, and it will expand through violence, and will continue to be violent until it stops. Israel is a country with a fake language. That's not real Hebrew. With no constitution. No country has no constitution. The prime ministers have no real name. Even the national anthem is not there. They took it from Romania, the lyrics and all that stuff, and they just added some gibberish words to it. Everything in Israel is fake. Everything is a lie. Everything is it is not a real nation. It's a nation that is struggling with its hateful ideology. What's going on right now, in my view, as a person who studies history, I'm not a historian, that Israel is like a rooster that had its head off. It's so vicious, and its violent behavior and viciousness toward the Palestinian. It is something that countries who are losing their grip on themselves usually do to maintain that grip. So for them to maintain the Zionist dream or the Zionist idea of an expanded state, they have to kill and maim. That's not the only thing they know. They don't believe peace. Even the peace with Egypt is all temporary. Look what happened in Syria. They had a 1974 agreement, of hostilities. When Assad was overthrown, they went right in and they took about 50 kilos of land. They are in it for the land, and eventually that land is going to swallow them. Anyway, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Sorry, man. I don't know, man. I was trying to see. I was on Twitter and I messed up a couple of times. But I love you. And I appreciate you. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. I hope the show is good. I hope it's good. This is the first time I'm using OBS. That's why I don't have the intros and outros. I have to figure it out, But anything, we had a good show today, I think, Nice. You always have the usual idiots. You have 2.6 million. You don't have a channel. How about that?